two great books you can learn from. So I wish someone had shown this to me when I was younger, learning how to draw. And what I was doing was I was copying great comic book artists that I liked, like John Buscema, who I thought and still think is the greatest comic book artist. And I got this book back in the 70s. But if I were to draw this pose back then, I probably would have done this. I would have used a black pencil and I'd have it sitting here and I would just start copying his eye, and then I would do the other eye. Until I had the entire figure copied tiny line by tiny line, because I didn't know what else to do, right? And what I should have done was taken a lesson from Andrew Loomis and Ben Caldwell, who have these pages of breaking down the pose into shapes and lines. And I should have done that. So here's how you can do that, by looking at what these guys did to break down a pose into lines and shapes. So here's Loomis and his stick figures. There's the John Buscema pose. And what you should do is you should break down everything into shapes. And so let's get this up here. Move this over. And so there's a line for his arm. There's a line for his upper arm. And you break down that pose. And you can change it if you want. But what you're doing is you're learning lines of action and the shapes of the body. Everything just comes down to basic shapes. And so this becomes a pretty easy pose to do. Not that you're going to draw like John Buscema first time out, but this is how you do it. You break down everything into basic shapes and perspectives, foreshortening. And if I was just learning how to draw now, this is what I would start to do. Let's take another one, like this guy standing here, just about to take a step. I would break it down into the head up here, line of action, shoulders turn, backbone like this, his arm is out like that, this arm back, and I would have something to hang the forms on. And that's how I would teach you to learn, by copying the old masters. And again, for more realistic, you can see Andrew Loomis and his mannequin frames here, and how he breaks down the figure skeleton, the line of action, and everything. So then his way of drawing is Again, basic shapes, lines of action. So if you like this guy's pose, you might draw it by starting here with the head. The shoulders go back like this, the other shoulder comes forward. Put a line here because his body's turned, that's the back spine there. This leg is forward because the pelvis is and the body are turned away from camera. His legs are spread apart, but it's not too much of an action pose. This arm back because this hand is on his hip, and then the mass of his chest here. That's how you learn, from copying and using lines and basic shapes to get your figure drawing. You know all these muscles in the legs and everything, and so that's a real quick way to go about learning how to draw. Let's look at another couple pages of John Buscema. Look at this double page spread of all the Marvel superheroes. Just really great poses here. Any pose you pick that you want to copy, you will learn a lot more if you go back to breaking things down, breaking the figure down into lines and basic shapes. So this is a super pose here where the guy is twisted, turning back. Standing poses that have a lot of action and life to them. Guy throwing a punch. And so you do it by, like this pose here is lines and shapes again. This arm coming towards us, so you should make the fist bigger. Some super foreshortening there. This is a line for the spine, goes back. Put the fist up here, because when you fight, you want to guard. And then the leg that's towards us goes here, go back like that. This leg comes down behind him. So I might have this come down like that. And then you add the flesh and muscle on top of it. So there's your basic figure. So any action pose you want to do, this is how you can do it. Break it down into basic shapes, lines, volumes, masses. So I wish someone had shown this to me when I was younger, but I'm showing it to you guys now, and these are two really great books to learn from. Take any pose you want from your favorite comics, animation, break it down, and you can draw. So until next time, keep drawing.